The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with just a lovely freaking individual, Ellen Olson, one of the nicest humans. She's an embryo. I know you're not supposed to ask ladies her age, but she is in early 20s. I'm pretty confident. I think she's legal to drink. That's about as old as I know. She's giving me the nod that she's legal to drink. Anyway, this young lady is one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. One is she's super quiet and sweet and kind of shy, and you're afraid she's not going to do it, but inside she's a complete badass. And I just know she's so representative of a lot of you, specifically ladies out there, some of you fellows that are just strong and smart and going to be a rock star entrepreneur, but you're not the typical kind of dominant personality, outgoing person, but you still have massive impact. And she's that lady. So I wanted to just introduce her. And I got to hang out with her. She's on her next level. So she was just at our event here in Scottsdale, like not even a month ago. Feels like it was forever, but it's been less than a month. So anyway, that's my introduction to Ellen. Ellen, give your introduction. Tell us who you are, why does you care, what's going on in your world, lady.
Hi, I'm Ellen. I'm 22, so I am an embryo. I
have a son who is 24. Not even like, oh, you could be my daughter. Like, no, you wouldn't even be my daughter. You wouldn't even be my youngest daughter. You'd be like,
yeah. I'm just excited to be a part of Next Level. I've been a part of Next Level for a while. The live event was really awesome. It really encouraged me to move forward, and just put more drive into everything I'm doing. So yeah, thanks for having me, Mike.
My pleasure. All right. So I don't want to Next Level is great, but they have to go. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that just because this isn't to sell. But I do want to talk about you and your story and kind of how you've grown. And anytime I have guests on, it's just, I was mentioned to Ellen before we started recording, we have the audience for the podcast is far, far, far larger than who we can actually help as clients. So I try and take the best from our clients and be like, what did you learn? And how did you do it? How could you distill it down in the time that we've got for our people? So why don't you give us some of your big frustrations that you were having that made you reach out so the people listening be like, this little girl's me. I know that. I have that. I feel that. And then we can kind of walk through what you've done and how things are changed so maybe we can give them value. So when you came, what was not working? What made you reach out and go, I need things to be different. I need help.
Yeah, so I was a solo house cleaner, and what wasn't working is that when I'd get sick or if I wanted to travel, I didn't make any money because I made a job for myself, and if I was gone, I wouldn't make any money, and also have no benefits. So I have other goals in my life, and I need to have more income to be able to accomplish my other goals. And I had been listening to the podcast for maybe a year, and I remember I almost signed up for a call like a few months into listening, and then I backed out because I was scared. And then in February, I decided I'm going to reach out to Grow My Cleaning Company. So that's where I was.
This February? Because we're recording this in October. God, I feel like you've been around for even longer. So let me just give a quick encouragement to those listening, because that was a theme at the last event. Mike Castro was kind of speaking and he said he did the same thing. So I just want to encourage guys, gals, if whether it's us or not, again, I'm not trying to sell you nothing, but well, first of all, the calls are free. So I don't know what I'm trying to sell you. And even on the calls, we don't make an offer to everybody. So if you're not liking the life that you're living or the business that you have, do something different and don't be a scaredy cat, right? Like it breaks my heart. I'm like, man, we could have changed this person's life years and years ago. So we've had no fatalities on the calls. People have a great experience. If you do want to book a call and get some help with a coach, promise you'll have a good experience. Maybe we'll end up working together, maybe not. That's okay. It's not the point. But I can guarantee you, if you don't do anything different, you're not going to get a different result. So again, it's not like you have to do a timeshare where you gotta come into a room and someone's going to sell you something. It's just getting some help. And if it's not us, if there's another influencer, coach, or something that you trust, take some goddamn action. Don't just do what you're doing and hope things will magically get better, because they won't. So don't be scared. If you need some help, go through, get it, follow through, even if it's hard or scary. Okay. So sounds like the big issue or problem you were having is you had a job, not a business, and you wanted a business. Okay. And that was most frustrating when you want to take a vacation. Like, well, now not only whatever I got to pay for the vacation is money, but I don't make, my income stops. So that costs me twice. And then I'm assuming it's also not great for clients, because maybe they start back up, or maybe, if they're a client, they're like, well, I kind of need you to be here all the time, not just when you feel like it. Okay, go ahead.
There's a limit to how much you can do. Because even like if you were cleaning 40 hours a week, that's really tiring. And I wasn't even doing 40 hours a week, but like no one wants to do that. So I knew I didn't want to get to that point. And so that's why I reached out to you guys.
Love it. So when you reached out, I always like asking what's the scariest thing we asked you to do, and what was the easiest thing? Like, what were the big changes that you made that helped you move from having a business to, and again, I'll be honest, if it's okay with you, can I share some of what I know about your company? If you don't like it, tell me, we'll edit it out afterwards. But because even when Ellen started, she's like, I'm not as big as a lot of the other guys or gals. Like, I have a little company still. And I'm like, Ellen, it's not about you being $1 million company. It's about you living the life that you want. So let's just put it all out there. When you came, you had no employees, correct? And now you've got 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not cleaning 0. You're clean. I mean, I know you can take time off because you're at the event. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm still cleaning, but I'll be out soon.
Okay. Yeah. And she's got a hiring funnel that's working. So what differences have you, and again, a lot of people get out, most people, almost all people get out in 2 or 3 months, and she's 6 months in, and she's probably going to be out this month or late October, for sure, November. So different people have different things. A, what took you so long? Was that what you wanted? And B, what encouragement can you give people that are trying to get out of cleaning and maybe it's taken them longer than they'd hoped it would take?
Yeah. So back like a few months ago, I did a podcast with Suzanne, and it was actually about hiring and how excited I was to hire. And then what took so long is that I became afraid again, and I would procrastinate by doing other things and putting off hiring. I was just like really scared. And I guess I thought this is going to be hard. Like, I don't know enough to hire. I'm not going to be able to train them right. And then I let all of those lies make me afraid. And I didn't, it ended up being inaction. I didn't do anything. And then I think the other thing is like mindset, like stepping into the role of a business owner and leaving your role as a house cleaner, because that's what I was for a few years. And like I would tell people, oh, I'm a house cleaner, this is who I am, but that's not who I am anymore. And I mean, I am a little bit, but I'm a business owner, and that's what I need to step into. And when I did end up hiring, I like put out my hiring ad, and I was freaking out. And I was like, wait, that wasn't that hard. And then I had my first interview, and that wasn't hard either. And then all of a sudden I hired someone, and I was like, wait, that was nothing. Like, why was I scared? I didn't have to be scared. And even though it was new to me, like it didn't have to be scary. Yeah.
So I love that. I'm hearing a theme with Ellen going, signed up for a call, it's too scary, so I didn't go. And then I waited, I don't know how long it was, months, God forbid, a year or 2. And then I got on the call and I got some coaching, which is scary, or hopefully you felt it was going to be scary when you came in. Hopefully, we don't bite or hit, or, it's usually pretty, I'll yell at you a little bit, but in love, and it's all good. And then you're like, okay. So it's like, took a long time to decide to book a call. And then you got scared and didn't do it. And then you signed up and took a long time to do the work, or I know you did something to raise prices and you had some pretty substantial benefits, but when it came to getting out of cleaning, you're like, even though I did the call and then I showed up for the call, and then I invested in the coaching, and then I showed up and got the coaching, doing the coaching. It was still, and I'm not judging. This is exactly what people are dealing with. Right. So that's why we have mindset coaches, because it's not just about what to do and how to do it. It's about getting people not afraid. So what was the straw and I love that you're retroactively going, and every step when I finally did it, so fear was holding you back. It wasn't that the thing was holding you back, fear of the thing, like I forget the president said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Fear was really the problem. It wasn't the things that you thought were the problem. When you did them, you're like, well, crap, that wasn't the problem at all. It was just the fear of the problem. Am I overstating, or is that how you felt?
That's how I felt. Definitely.
Hey, amazing people, you may have noticed we don't sell a dadgum thing on this podcast. We don't allow ads. The only ask I can ever have of you guys is if you dig the show, for you to spread the word and share so we can change as many lives as possible. Literally, it'll take you 5 seconds to give us a great review, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you as a listener and value the gift of your kind words. Now, back to the show. So what can you tell to younger Ellen or some beautiful young or old person in Clean Nation right now listening to the sound of your voice who is having some version of, but you don't understand, Ellen, my situation is different, or but I'm afraid, or but it won't work for me. What would you say to that person who desperately wants to change, but is kind of stuck where you were?
I would say imperfect action is better than inaction. And I was afraid about making a mistake, and that's why I kept putting it off. But I just needed to try it and like make a mistake and then fix it fast. That's way better than sitting and doing nothing, because that's a mistake in itself. And I guess like at the event that I believed that more, like imperfect action is better than inaction. And I just need to keep trying. And if I make mistakes, that's fine. I can just fix it. And it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. If you make a mistake that doesn't get the outcome that you want, you make a decision that gets you an imperfect outcome because it's an imperfect decision. You know how you fix that? With another decision. Yeah. Or you can do that with action. Go ahead.
It's hard for a person that doesn't want to make any mistakes. But all of us are imperfect. So, but I was just making mistakes.
I think perfectionist is the word that we use when we don't want to call ourselves the real P word, which is procrastinator. Yeah. So instead of being honest with ourselves, because saying I'm a procrastinator doesn't feel so good. We're like, oh, I'm a perfectionist, kind of is a shiny, fancy version. But at the end of the day, you're not doing anything and you can't steer a parked car. So if you truly want to be an entrepreneur, I forget who says this. I've quoted it before and I wish I could give credit. I think it might be Warren, but I'm not sure. It's a lot of entrepreneurship is a lot of going from mistake to mistake without any, or failure to failure without any loss of enthusiasm. So it would be super easy for Ellen to go judge herself because again, in the next level, you're probably the longest person in the group still cleaning. And if that was her judgment, she could use that to cripple herself. She could make up all manner of stories that aren't the truth. I'm stupid. I'm too young. I don't know. There's all sorts of crazy stuff that would be just asinine, but it's Ellen's brain. She can tell herself whatever story she wants. Or she could go, it's not, gosh, Ellen, at your age, you have so much more advantage. You've wasted, and I'm doing the huge air quotes with wasted 6 months or however long it's been. Good Lord, you're still 22. Holy crap. By the time you're my age, you could be king of the world. That's another story you could tell is how lucky am I that a lot of people don't start until they're 42. So there's a lot of perspective of, oh, I wasted 6 months. Well, you could have wasted 20 years. Right. And, we have to have you back here in like a month because you're going to be out. She just has her hiring funnel up. So it's just, she didn't start it, I don't think, till like a month ago. But anyway, now that it's up, you're going to be out. I'm not so worried about that. All right. Before we wrap, I want to talk about the marketing piece of what you've been doing, because I think that's been the other fear. And honestly, for me and even you, Ellen, I'm like, I don't know why that's more of a Suzanne conversation on the mindset of what took you so long on the hiring funnel. Because I'm like, she can do that. I was surprised that took you so long. The client attraction, we teach a lot of paid stuff, and Ellen's like, well, I still want to do more of the free right now, which is fine. I feel like I asked you to do a much harder thing there than the hiring ad, and you ate that for breakfast like it wasn't even a big deal. So tell Clean Nation what you've been doing, how it's been working, and how you got little scared Ellen to even do a hiring ad or a group interview to do this big, scary marketing stuff that you've been doing so well at.
Yeah, so for marketing, I still need more money. So I'm just trying to go with the, I guess, more cheaper option, which would be canvassing. That's what I decided I wanted to do. So I went out canvassing just for an hour, and then it ended up turning into 3 leads. And I'm very hopeful that it'll turn into 3 clients. One already has turned into a client, but I was very scared to go out canvassing, and I was shaking, actually shaking. Why am I so scared? And then I went out and did it, and it was so much fun. And I got in my daily walk, and I got to meet a lot of different people. But yeah, that went really well. And I'm excited because like that was very promising. And I'm gonna keep doing that.
Well, and let's just do a little bit of math here. Um, what's your average monthly client value, if I may ask?
400.
Okay, so that's 4,800 a year. We'll call it 5 grand just to make the math easy. How long does a client stay with you on average?
Um, like a year and a half. When I started as a solo cleaner. I mean, not many people have left. I don't know.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years is not on average, but we'll call it a year and a half. So we'll just call that 7, 8 grand. So, and by the way, she's got 3 leads from that, 2 of which are bids that she's giving later in the week. So it's not like she gave them and they were no. We got a one for sure, yes. So that's 7, 8 grand for if that's all you get. None of the others turn that 7, 8 grand in revenue for an hour's worth of work. And say half of that goes to cost of goods sold. So now you're at 3 or 4 grand. It's like still for an hour's worth of work, that's not bad. And if you do that, an hour a day, and then by the way, all marketing is just paying other people to deliver that same message and that same offer. So canvassing is, going doing it by foot. You can do postcards, which you pay someone to do by foot. Door hangers, you pay someone to do by foot, or postcards, you pay the postman to do it by foot, or Facebook ads where you do it digitally, or email. Like there's lots of ways to get that message. And I'm so proud of, and we don't teach people to do a lot of canvassing, but just where Ellen's at and her fear, the fact that she's willing to do that, it's like, oh my gosh, when she conquers that, she can do just about anything. And I've got your customer profitability spreadsheet up, and I've noticed since June you've doubled in revenue. So just throwing that out there, not a big deal. And I feel like we should have you back on like January 1st. So we're doing this end of October. I'm like, let's come back like January, February, March. Bet you've doubled or tripled again, completely out of cleaning, won't have that view. Okay. So hopefully this has been helpful for some of the smaller, because again, we have a lot of other bigger guys that are having big results. And I'm not that Ellen's results aren't big, but I just like, it can be encouraging to people that are like, my life doesn't look like that, or I'm younger, or I'm a little more timid, or whatever excuse you've got. You can see Ellen go, well, she's still living the life that she wants, and she's still getting the results that she wants, and she's not magic. So that said, end it any way you want, Ellen. What encouragement would you give to Cleaning Nation who might be where you were and wants and is afraid to go forward? What would you say to them?
I would say if you're afraid or embarrassed about where your business is at, don't be. Because that's where I was. And then I went to the live event surrounded by other amazing business owners that are honestly like, they're where I want to be in the future. And I was afraid to be honest about where I was at, but at least 8 people went up to me separately and were just like, we are so excited for you. We want to help you with anything that you need. Please reach out to us. So that was huge for me. That especially with Grow My Cleaning Company, there's a really good support system. And it's just good to be honest with where you're at and not be embarrassed because you're moving forward.
Yeah, let me just encourage all. That was beautiful. I'll tag on my perspective and we'll call this a show, but it's the most comfortable room is to be the room where you're the smartest guy or gal in it, right? Because no one's going to challenge you and it feels great, but you're never going to grow. The least comfortable room is when you're the smallest guy or gal in the room and you're forced to grow and forced to get uncomfortable. So I love, Ellen, that because you're successful in your own right. There are lots of places you could go online or offline where everyone would be like, oh, look at you, you're crushing it. I want to live your life. But you choose to be in the room where you're kind of the small fish. And I love that. And when it's the right room, people are going to do exactly, people adopt Ellen because she's little and she's not little, but she's young and she's cute. And you can hear her energy, just this sweet, kind lady. So of course, everyone in the room is just like, oh my gosh, we want to see her succeed. And as a coach, I just see what's in you. And I'm like, I know who you're going to be. And I know you kind of feel it, but having done this 1,000 times, like, oh, I know exactly what this is like. So I just want to encourage all of you guys, gals, be real intentional about the rooms that you're in, right? Be the little fish in the big pond, find a pond of people that want to help and do want to encourage you and aren't with an attitude of, for them to win, you have to lose. And, that gets like, of course we want to support you. And then Ellen is going to be a big fish pretty soon. I guarantee you, because of who she is, she's going to be the sweetest. And that's how all 8 of those people, Ellen, in that room, you can give me a list of names. I bet you I could check them off. We're all little and got the help that they needed from a mentor. So they totally get like, hey, I want to help and encourage this lady. So Cleaning Nation, don't be scared, I think is wise beyond Ellen's years, and just be around people that support you and help you and that are living the life that you want or getting the results that you want. You spend enough time with them, it's really hard not to get the same results. So, all right, if you want to help, go to growingcleaningcompany.com. Please don't book a call and then not show up. We have a finite amount of coaches, and we have so many more people that want calls than we can handle. And but if you do want something different, take an action. If it's booking a call with one of our team, then do that and show up and get some help. If it's booking a call with someone else's team that's smart and knows what they're doing and showing up, then do that. If it's whatever you feel like you need to do, take some action, do the scary thing. Even if your body shakes and tells you this is terrible, do it. You'll get some results, and reach out to us and tell us how you did. Look forward to hearing from you, Clean Nation.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me. But like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend. Share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431, 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.